Get out of here, Zoomers. The Boomers have arrived. Yes, welcome back. Welcome to our round three of the ETF2L Season 36 Preseason Map Cup. It's your boy TurboTabs, and it's also your boy Beta, who, we should quickly touch upon. You've lost your casting throne, sir, since I've last checked. How do you feel?
I'm already plotting my revenge. Don't worry about it. I'll get it. I'll get it back.
Well, for now, we are working for the master, the Lord himself, Dumtum, and part of his thing is this coverage from Team Fortress TV of this ETF2L Season 36 Preseason Map Cup. As I've said before, we're going into round three. We're going into our next match immediately. So new round, new map. It is going to be Bagel, and I'm sure people are familiar with this map because it's been around for a little bit, and it looks quite polished to me. But we haven't got too much time to spare, Beta. All the players are in. They're just kind of waiting on us. And these two teams, NAVI and Lemmings. Yeah, those are two familiar names. I mean, one is kind of hijacking one name, but Lemmings is a familiar name.
Yeah, and it's kind of got the old Lemmings team. I don't know. It's a bunch of Germans and and Shockies on it. I guess that's good enough for me. I'll buy it. It's the Lemmings team. And they were really good. And then we have, of course, the NAVI team, which is kind of like an old name as well. A bunch of Ukrainians, basically. They're very, very good. So you can't underestimate them ever. I just assume they've won all their matches so far. I haven't actually checked. But yeah, we're going to be playing Bagel, which is a map that's been around for a while, but looks like it's gotten a bit of a graphical update to it. I've casted some games on it in Australia. They're very fast, they're very hectic. There's no real good places to hold on this map, so it almost tends to favor the attacking team, which is very unusual, but it's kind of a nice change of pace.
Yeah, that sounds like a nice little healthy mix. I mean, I'm sure in these map cups, everybody's looking for that new thing. Who knows? This might be the new sort of process ramp rollout that everyone just gets completely obsessed with. Like a new mechanic in TF2 wouldn't hurt now, with it kind of limping into its like 12th year or 13th year now, kicking. But it's going to be interesting, to say the least. Now, I've got a conundrum for you, Beto, as we're waiting for these players to ready up at any point now. Who do you really favour in these sort of new style map things? Do you prefer the old people like, Shockey, who's played pretty much maps as far as the eye could see, or do you prefer the new faces, the ones that are a bit younger, probably these Ukrainians, where they have been around a while, but not as long as maybe some of these Germans, and maybe they're going to be adapting to these maps quicker? Who's your money on?
I think my money is on Lemmings, just because they always seem like they're more of a tactical team than Navi was. They're much more of a DM based team, just like roughly speaking. I don't think you can make any kind of sweeping generalizations. Oh, also this map has a boost pad. It's hilarious.
My God, what? It has a boost pad? I haven't seen those since like.
There's like the little ventilator. You can see like some particles coming out of it. That's like a small boost pad. Yeah, it'll just like boost you up to the high ground.
Oh, that's weird. I haven't seen one of those since like Unreal Tournament or something. But hey ho.
Yeah.
New mechanics, all that. But we've had a little bit of a preview of the first two maps now, and Bagel is by far and wide like the most polished and obviously the most recognizable. Do you think it's, from a map maker's perspective, like this is going to win out in the tournament and catch the eyes of these ETF2L admins, or do you think these other two maps have done well so far?
I think all the maps in this play pretty well. I really wouldn't be able to. I think Bagel is more fun to play than Clear Cut, if I had to guess. I haven't played it enough to actually make that kind of statement. It's just my initial impression is that Clear Cut is slightly worse to play. Just based on this. This has a very quick pace, almost too fast. But I think people in general favor the high pace over the kind of slower, where it's a little bit more difficult to push into mid than you see in Clear Cut. So that's just going to be my guess. I kind of like how there's these two enclosed areas on each side. And if any team is holding on one side, you can just kind of like force your way through and get people behind from that one side. And they can't really do much about it, but they can see you do it, so they know it's coming. So it's not like something where you just send people behind and then you can just walk in behind and they're just going to be all confused as to what the hell just happened when people just come in and backstab them. So it kind of has this pretty nice balance between you have a lot of movement that you can use, and at the same time, like they can actually play around it. They don't just get completely owned by it. But yeah, and also it's just we've seen it being played in Australia, and it works pretty well. So yeah, this is going to be a good map, I think.
Very nice, very nice. Now, it is a King of the Hill map, and, we don't have too many of them kind of showing their faces here in TF2. We only really have that one viaduct map, and it's quite small, but looking around this map now, this is quite big. Do you see any, sort of off-classing happening in these Australian maps, or do people mainly... Oh, nope, there's no time. There's no time for questions. There's no time for answers. We're going straight into it, Beta. If you're just joining us, this is Team Fortress TV, covering round 3 of ETF2L Season 36 Preseason Map Cup. It's TurboTabs casting off in this middle with his boy Beta and his production buddy ArchRhythm on that camera. And the first thing I'm seeing on mid is teams just kind of having a good long stare at each other. It's a long map, Beta. They need to take time to actually get set up here. They're going to try and take each other's towers. Actually, Demoman Murphy just going in with a big flank all on his own lonesome. They didn't see that coming on the side of NAVI, and they end up losing 2 picks straight out of the gate. But this was the green light to go for NAVI, as they've actually managed to just barrel in and just take the DM fight to them. But
both scouts die, though. That was actually looking pretty well. It was a full chariot. 2 scouts up with a medic. That's usually the ticket to winning a mid-fight, but just a huge sticky coming in there from Murphy. Just kills 1 scout, takes the other one down really low. Scout will follow up there. So both medics dying. We've seen no snipers, and I don't think we're going to see much sniper on this. It's actually a really bad sniper map. You just don't have a good sightline anywhere, even though it's a pretty long map. So I think that's just going to continue to be the case here. So now we get this first look at how difficult it is to actually defend on this map, and how awkward things can get. And they're actually holding inside the left house. Very interesting there.
Yeah, they seem kind of scattered over on the side of NAVI, not really opting to take all the objective in one go. They're kind of spreading themselves a little bit thin, and they counter a little bit over on Lemmings. They're trying to keep every sort of high point and place on the map at least covered with an eye, and then maybe they'll start retreating out, and it's time to go back to the drawing board for NAVI, as they've managed to group up now, but they've ended up grouping into a bomb, and the soldier bombs in, but the Demoman actually cleans it up. There's a huge flank coming out from NAVI to actually clean up some of the mess. So God, such a long map for them to kind of cover all bases here. It seems to have turned the tide against Lemmings with that flank from NAVI.
Yeah, they kind of hold on there, even though Gazzy came in with the Nerf speedy gun. That's pretty funny. He's actually using that. I can't. Is it Babyface Blaster?
Yeah.
It's not actually good, guys, but still. I mean, he got some kills with it. Actually, going to be an Uber force here. And as long as Kasara can actually get out of here alive, it looks like he can. Scout tried to chase him down, but he just runs into the entire enemy team. So now it's going to be the Germans that's going to be kind of in the driver's seat here, but they just run into a bunch of big rockets. Huge flank from the soldier there as well. Utke comes in from behind, takes down the medic. He actually managed to sneak his way in there. So that's a huge turnaround right now. And now we actually have a forward hold. This is the kind of thing that I said you can't really do, but let's see if I'm wrong.
Yeah, Gazzy is really trying out every unlock in the book here. I think I even saw a baseball fly through the air, and Murphy is trying to kind of grate his team with some space, but he will get bombed out by Utke, and Utke is going to kind of force some damage into his team. They're having a tough time at NAVI of keeping all these forwards holds forwardly held, as they've managed to actually squeeze in on the left-hand side over on Lemmings now, and they're a bit disjointed. Everyone's so low, cut off from their medic, and in trying to retreat back to him, a few casualties have been lost, and
Utke
they're
again.
losing even more. Murphy's on his own now. Utke is kind of taking over the blob of Lemmings, and the medic's caught in no man's land. There's not an Uber charge in sight, and he will go down, and probably his buddy Murphy as well, and they've got an Uber charge to boot over on NAVI.
Yeah, they went in super deep on the right side, but they just didn't quite have the team there with them, as Chemical's going to overextend a little bit here. Actually, Thieves might get picked off as well. He actually going to get saved by the Uber there. So not quite the Uber that I think Navi were looking for there, but yeah, they've been doing a really good job of actually holding on to the midpoint. What we saw when the Australians played it was that they couldn't really hold on to the midpoint. They just kind of had to give it up and then come back in and take it over again.
Man, Utka has just been putting in work on these flanks. Really is just like a one-man army. It's a shame that an army can actually beat a one-man army, as he just takes out the rest of his team instead. And Utka is all on his own, as they will back off now, respect the numbers advantage that Lemmings are presented with, but they're going to have an overcharge advantage over on Lemmings, but I doubt they're going to press it.
Yeah, like you don't press an uber advantage when you're already holding the point. This is Soldier kind of behind lines. Like, he can come in here, look like that's going to be his cue, but they're not really able to find anyone. But he is still hiding behind lines, and we've seen some huge flank from Utka already. He might just try to make that happen once again. Medic's being pressured quite a bit here on point, but he wants to not use this Uber, and Utka has been cleaned up as well.
Yeah, it seems you can see a bit of
scouted behind though.
Oh no, they've dropped their soldier over on Lemmings here when they popped off the Uber. They're going to have to try and pick up the pieces with what players they have left, and in doing that they've overextended their players, trying to desperately make charge of that Uber. And now Murphy's left on his own because he's cut off from his medic, and he will get picked off as well. If the medic dies here, this will be a disastrous push by Lemmings, and he has.
Yeah, there was no way he was ever getting out of that. He actually got a kill, pretty surprisingly, but yeah. That was never going to work. Okay, scout in here on the medic, not quite going to get it.
Watch your step, watch your step. That's an air pad. As they're trying to actually go aggressive with this supercharge here. I mean, it's quite questionable because they can just go back into their spawn door here, and how long do they really want to stick around? Maybe long enough to take out this demo man, but the exit strategy has not been planned clearly, as they do actually trade demo man here. And
they didn't see the soldier. Utka was just hiding in the corner, and this guy just ran right past him. That's what happens when you don't know the map properly. You just miss obvious things like this. But the Germans do manage to come back in here and retake the point. But they have a slight Uber advantage. They've actually been better at building Uber so far. They're going to try this forward hold, but they need to hold on for it for 30 seconds. Otherwise, they will lose this.
They look like they're having a barrel of a time actually taking that air pad. Like, I think it would have been better to push in the other way, but it was like, nah, man, let's take the air pad. This is so much fun. Stefan's going to go down there. They're just brute forcing from both sides of these doorways, and it's way too much for Lemmings to actually control and handle here. Being pulled apart at the seams. Can't look at two places at once, and they will actually get the round on the board. The Russians will beat the Germans for now.
Yeah, it was worked out really nice. They kind of forced their way through these chokes. These doorways, they're all very wide, so it's actually pretty easy to just force your way through. You just jump in a soldier or something. It works kind of like Viaduct, but just imagine the door is twice as wide. And that's kind of the dynamic there. So these forward holds, they're very, very risky, and didn't work out for Lemmings there. And Navi, they're going to win the first round 1-0.
Yep, pipes flying, stickies flying, baseballs flying. It's no, but the only thing I don't see flying is soldiers. Soldiers actually going to jump in a little bit now, but nobody's really committing, as it's a really hard commit to make. So far apart from each other, it's more like a cold war than a natural war, as they just cap the point off and just strong arm the territory instead. But in trying to go back and deal with some of these flanking players, they end up losing the point again. Maybe this is the plan for both teams. Take it second by second.
Yeah, it's usually the soldiers will play the sides because that's kind of an enclosed area, and it's pretty also easy to actually catch people out using that. So that's kind of like a fight of the two rooms, and Navi kind of won out on the first one. And here comes the Uber Force actually, and looks like
oh no! Kazariza, he died, no! As, well, I guess that's a fortunate medic for Ubercharge for the Russians, as they just managed to get that. Otherwise, that would have been absolutely disastrous Uber if they just managed to pop it off over on Lemmings.
Yeah, Kazaro actually almost gets taken down by Utka as well. Utka, he really seems to enjoy just hiding around here inside this house. They even see Chemical. He's found another corner to hide in. Gassy, he's actually going to spot him this time around. Last time he didn't really spot him in time, but this time he's learned his lesson. He's got eyes in the back of his head now, and he's just going to push them out. So aggressive on the right side. What a shot from
that was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very nice here. It seems like they're having a tough time finding what's working for them over on Navi. They all try and hold one side, they end up getting run over. If they try and spread themselves thin, well, they just get run over. It seems like they're having a struggle to find a defense here, and only the attackers, like you've said in the pre-game, are having a good time.
Yeah, it's very difficult to find a comfortable way to hold. the most comfortable place to be on this map is behind the point on that big wide open area where you can dodge around. And and then you just kind of use the point as a double choke where they just have to walk over it and you just completely murder them. That's the best way to hold it as far as I've been able to tell so far. And here you can see the scout, he's kind of trying to edge it out. Got Stickies slowly trying to make him go away. But okay, here comes in the soldier aggression. Actually gets taken down really quickly, so Lemmings so far doing a fantastic job of holding this.
Oh, Dima, he's isolated, and he's actually been isolated for a long time here. Still alive, will eventually go down, but did an admirable job of keeping himself alive. Oh, Utka might get... Oh, actually forces the pop out of Kazaros. Very nice from Utka there, kind of saving the overall fight for his team, as it would have been kind of a hard push in if they had an Uber charge to deal with as well.
Get another forward hold. It hasn't worked out so far. Let's see if they kind of figured out the key to doing this. I'm not sure what the key is, but well, that's getting the first soldier there with the sticky trap. That's definitely going to help out. Oh my God, Dafa takes down the scout with the pickaxe. Here comes Utka though from the other side. He's onto the medic. Big rocket, but not quite enough time to get off the second one.
I mean, they like the sentiment. They like the fact that these doors are almost like twice as big on this King of the Hill map as compared to Viaduct, but it's still a doorway at the end of the way. It's still a chokeway, and it's hard to get through that choke as they actually lose chemical to the little cratering effect there. And they're just trying to deal with these pesky little soldiers who weasel their way out of these little bombs as well.
Ava should have been dead, but he actually got an arrow mid-air, and he actually is going to end up trading here with the scout. Kasara has gone down, though. Scout in behind. He's trying to make it onto Dima. He's being pressured so hard, but Dima, he just holds on to it. No fear. No fear.
Oh,
he should have feared just a little bit.
Uber drop coming out from Dima, and he just really wanted to hold on to it there, and Stefan proving too much of a pain for not only his soldiers on the flank, but for the medic in front of him as well.
Yeah, at some point, there's a difference between not being afraid and having no respect, and nice jump in there from Utka, actually takes down the medic. Great job by him. That's going to salvage this situation quite a bit. Scouts in aggressively here. Lemmings, I think they're setting up here to capture this point, and then maybe use that as a distraction to get onto the medic. Big jump in there from the soldiers. Actually, both soldiers go in here, but Dima, he's made his way in.
Oh my, Thief, that was nice. That was very, very nice there. And my God, Beater, you weren't kidding. Everyone just keeps barreling in over and over and over and over again. Yeah. I'm trying to draw a breath here. I can't imagine the poor job Adam on production has to do and try and capture all the action here. The man needs like 5 cameras.
Yeah, it's really a thing. Just put it on the static mid cam, and that's probably your best bet to actually try to follow the action on this one. If we're being honest, but yeah, it's very, very action packed. But let's see what they do on this mid. Last time around, they kind of played both sides, and they were very passive in there. It's kind of just the soldiers, instead of going through the middle, they took the sides. But it looks like this time around they're going to be much more aggressive in the mid sides.
Yeah, it looks like a different philosophy coming out from both of these teams. NAVI's opting to kind of bunch it together a bit more, whilst Lemmings are much more hoping to just throw one player in one at a time, and they're doing a good job of actually surviving these sort of 1v5s and then switching and rotating out. Has gained them a point.
Gas is on the 4K with the baby face blaster.
Look how fast he goes, my God, he's just on steroids, but he's having a tough time fighting this soldier without actually being able to jump here, and he's lost all of his charge, I think, just from that little firefight, but things have calmed down for all of 2 seconds here on this map, so I think he can probably build it up again.
Yeah, Lemmings, they have the Uber right now. They're just trying to hold on to it, but they also want to block the point. But they're not going to be able to block the point in time, but they're actually just going to come in here with the Uber trying to catch this medic. He's running out. He's just grabbed the scout. He's going to boost up with the jump pad, but not quite fast enough. The babyfish blaster, it's too strong. Nerf this filth. Come on, Val.
This is new meta forming on a new map, and it's quite a creative way. It's a very big map that you have to kind of adhere to a lot of demands probably requested from your team, and I mean, this is thinking outside the box, and I'm liking it. At the end of the day, it's not stupid if it works.
Yeah, that's very true. That's probably still would have been better off, but yeah, you can have some fun, man. It's cool.
He's
Another
hiding.
Forward hold, but
he's at 99% power. and he's running around. He just got like a 2-shot on the guy, and there he's gone like a ghost in the wind, and nobody can got caught eye of him. Now he's backed up on top of this Demo Man as well. Will just keep running around and just kind of taking their attention and hoovering up health packs here. He will finally, give a breather to NAVI as he jumps away now and reconnects with his team. But he's bought so much space, it just allows Lemmings to kind of crawl all over them.
It seems like Lemmings have kind of figured it out. They're much better at just kind of spacing themselves out and figuring out where to focus their attention on this map. So far, they were definitely just losing these fights early on, whereas now it seems like they're much more in control. And they have about a minute more or less on the clock here, but the Gassie's going to go down. No more speed for you, my friend.
Yeah, it seems the weakness to the strat is catching him early on in these fights before he gets to build enough charge. Both Ubers have been traded, but Kazaro has ended up dropping his pocket, and he has to go back and heal somebody else with the remnants of that Uber charge here. And they're a bit spread thin, and they will actually get cleaned up here over on Lemmings. And now the soldier wants to go in on his own as well. He actually does manage to, third time the charm, get the medic, and at what cost though, as they've got enough firepower to maybe take a fight again, but they're a bit scared because they've blobbed back up on this right hand side over on Lemmings.
Yeah, they've actually done a pretty good job of just getting out of there. Utka, however, he's behind lines. He actually got shot in the back here, so they know about him. So you can see just how passive Lemmings are, because they know that Utka is just hiding inside this building. He's been doing that the entire game, and yeah, they're on to him. Basically, he's finally going to get cleaned up here. It looks like, yeah, Gassie's going to find the shot and gain some speed in the process here as well. But actually, Lemmings are losing quite a bit, including their 2 scouts, which is probably the most important class, just especially on these cough maps. But
Deefer making the jump in there, managed to get his way through the flank, and they're just, again, spread so thinly for both of these teams. Chemical seems to find his favourite place on the map. It's just holding this house, like right angle stairway, and just being the master and commander of that area. He will back off and kind of protect his medic, protect his boys, and actually try and retreat with Dima, but he's got nobody to heal now, and he's so close to Uber charge as well. This is going to sting if Gazzy actually gets the kill onto him, and he will. The speedy scout strikes again.
Oh yeah, he's not even done yet, and Shocky, he managed to actually kill himself because he missed with the Boston Bastion. That's pretty funny. Oh, can Gazzy do it? No, not quite. He probably could have used an extra shot or two in the scattergun right there. But yeah, now it's going to be a recap coming in here, at least the attempt of it. I don't think Lemmings quite have enough players to actually contest this, and yeah, they're just going to let it go here, and Meso is not even going to be able to get out in time here.
Utka, oh my god, you're so close to death, my friend, and you will die. Shocky going aggressive as ever, and they're pretty much on sudden death timer here. Only 6 seconds left on the clock for Lemmings. If they could capture this, they're more than likely going to win out this round. It's going to be really hard for them. They have to dedicate all their players here to just kind of capping out the point. But oh my god, they've actually turned this around. Donny just going around just like a man possessed. Udka's turned back up to the fight, but it's just too much. Even a man possessed can only take out 3 or 4 on his own, and there we go. It will be the Lemmings taking this round.
Yeah, we even got the meme spoon as well at the very end there. We haven't seen it at all on this map so far, and yeah, Meso just jumps in there, just gets the giant 195 damage onto the guy there, and that's going to be 2-1 here from Lemmings after losing the first round. And so far, we haven't seen any soldiers jump through the middle, and it looks like that's not going to be the case this time around either.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to bum rush their own battlements, but they think wiser against it, Lemmings. They will rather go back and kind of capture this point from an arm's length, but they'll steal this idea over on NAVI here. But it was a trap, an ambush coming out from Meso to get the kill onto Dima, and now they've got to just kind of fight without that heal advantage, and the first thing they do is take out the equivalent heal advantage for Lemmings, and with the death settles, there's just a bit more players on the side of Lemmings, and they will win that out from numbers alone.
Yeah, they lost their medic quite a bit later though, so that's actually going to be a pretty nice advantage right now.
Ooh,
coming up for the NAVI, and yeah, they're going to take full advantage here. They don't want 20% advantage, they want like 40% advantage, and that's what you do with crits. It builds faster. So this makes a ton of sense. Scout's going to be on the point here trying to block it out. I think they're just trying to see if they can get their way onto and maybe get onto the medic. And they do have a scout in behind lines. Gassy, he's running a little scout bot around in there. Trying trying to find his window to get in here. He's not going to be able to find it though.
Alright, they've got the Kritzkrieg charged and ready, but they're again being pressured by these soldiers here, and he will jump into the arms of this Kritzkrieg. This is the correct play here. You want to put pressure on that medic and kind of force him out, and it will end up making this Kritzkrieg very, very ineffective, as they've now got an overcharge building, but they've got nobody to build the overcharge with. Kazaro is going to be the last man standing in his team, as all that Kritzkrieg, I guess, bought enough space, or an aggroed Lemming team to just fodder.
Yeah, Gaz is going to try and see if he can sneak his way in there, but yeah, Chemical's not having that. He was watching the right side just fine. No forward hold this time around, so you can see everyone from Lemmings, they're just able to walk through these doors just fine. But now, this is the matter of, can you actually make this way onto middle here and cap it out without getting completely spammed out? It looks like the answer is just yes. There was no contest there at all. They were very afraid of that Uber, so they're counting Uber. I like it.
Udka is drawing a few eyes and a bit of worries from Lemmings here, and it allows the rest of NAVI to start swarming this point and attacking them from the face forward, and it hurts. Oh, not the face, as Ghazi's going to be to run back. Oh no, he's taken the flank way round. He's actually whizzed back round. He will go down to the blob of NAVI, but it looked very nice there, kind of a little juke, but they've managed to maybe set up a forward hold here with this.
It's Kritzkrieg still.
Right, he's using it. He's going straight in. He gets Stefan, but can he get any more? It's a very oh yes, very nice final sticky going on to Defa there, as it's going to be hard to kind of push past this initial forward hold without expending this Uber, I believe. They've actually taken the long way round, so just beating them in the marathon rather than the wall, as they've gotten into this yard area. They're trying to see if they can get into this battlements and take out these soldiers, but it's so hard fighting uphill in this staircase area.
Yeah, one of the soldiers really need to wrap around through the middle and then go in through that side. Otherwise, you're just going to get completely spammed out. And yeah, really nice job by the single Utka soldier there. He just completely held the entire side on his own. And as a result, his team is going to be able to just recap this mid just fine. They're in a dominant position. And yeah, Kasara, he's about to have his Uber, but Kritzkrieg is not far off either here on the side of Dima.
Oh, a lot of spam rockets. He's forced his hand as they popped off the Uber. They've got a Demoman and Scout Special. Even the soldier being thrown into the mix as well. Everyone's getting a bit of Uber, and everyone's dying over on the side of Na'Vi here. And Kritzkrieg be damned, as they will get this midpoint, and they will probably gain back that timer advantage.
Absolutely. Ghazi has he's found a corner. He's hiding in it. And it looks like everyone has actually just run out behind him. So definitely going to keep an eye on that, to keep that in mind, as the rest of the Na'Vi team, they're now in here. And yeah, you can see...
Oh, he's taking the long way around. I wonder, can you use the air pad thing if you've got the babyface blaster, or would it cancel it?
Well, it's only if you jump. Actually, it's not even... You can still jump, I think. I think they changed it. I can't remember.
Okay, oh, he's coming in from the flank now. He needs to be careful where he goes, though. If he goes across the point, the announcer will kind of tip the favour what's going on here. He actually takes that huge flank round just to kind of go for Chemical on this closed door instead. A bit of a wild choice, as he actually... Now he goes round for the wraparound onto Dima there, and there we go. That's the flank I was expecting, and they capitalise over on Lemmings here and gain the point back just as quickly as they lost it.
It took a while before that paid off, but it did really pay off. They lost the point for about 10 seconds there, so that's not a big deal when you can get that much of an advantage. They do have a big Uber advantage, but they don't quite have the Uber yet. You need to be very careful when you're doing these forward holds, and you don't have Uber yet, because you can just get killed. And it looks like the Demo Man might just go down, but it's actually going to be a flash.
Oh no, Casaro, he really wanted to save his scout buddy there, or I think actually it was his soldier buddy, and he ends up going down in that little connector, as they're going to make the counter attack here. They've got a Kritzkrieg bubbling away, but not quite ready, as they still want to get aggressive, buy some space and room. They've lost Dima though, the flank around from Ghazi again, and he links back with his team. They're all sharing the same sort of splash damage here, and they've got a Hail Mary pass with their medic going down. They all just want to barrel on top of Kazaro, and that's exactly what happens here now. Both medics traded. It's now turned into a DM fest. Who's got the fastest finger first? And it seems to be Shocky with a 3 kill streak so far. Can he make it a 4th? No, he cannot. The medic has re-entered the fight, and the medic has not got re-entered the fight without a scout buddy anymore. Oh, the woe is the Dima, as he will go down. They're going to throw bodies at it still, because we're entering that sort of sudden death timer, and it will be another round. And more than likely the victory? I imagine it is first to 3 points, right?
First to 3.
Okay. All right, so congratulations to Lemmings. They will win this round and they will win this map. It is a single map of Bagel, and yeah, congrats.
Yeah, kind of a pretty good back and forth fight here. Navi took the first round, then kind of we saw slowly Lemmings kind of fought their way back, really dominating in the third round, and then this last and final round, it was pretty close. But they just barely managed to edge out Navi. So yeah, I think I called this. That the Lemmings were going to win out here in the end.
Yes, Bisa, you are a genius of the TF2 world, but I bet you can't tell me how much damage Stefan has done exactly. For that, we're going to have to turn to the logs. So as I get fired up here over in these, this is going to be a very high kill and death amount of logs, so please keep your expectations, in accordingly. Ladies and gentlemen, because there's not too much action that happens in the average TF2 map compared to this one. This one's just constantly barreling out here, and we're going to see double digits from everybody. Yes, even the medics, Peter. All right, what can you see? Have you got them up? Are you ready?
Yeah. I mean, like Shocky, he has 98 points. So, and it was a pretty short game. So he must have like a ton of cap points as well. Like, I didn't see him have like a ton of like super big kill streaks or anything. He was just always around doing damage and doing a lot of work and protecting his medic and stuff. So,
I mean, can you call it protecting the medic at this point? I feel like a lot of it was just kind of, everyone was just going aggressive. I don't think there was any sort of protecting at all. It was just attack. And I mean, I like the style. It's nice to have it's kind of a refreshing trace. And I like the idea of a map that kind of caters to every aspect or suits of a team and test it. And maybe like an attacking map is what we need. But yeah, look at all that attack. There's 37 kills on the man. Dear Lord. But he's been matched. I mean, Donnie's also got about 34 as well on the opposing team, but the damage
he
is just...
only has 300 DPM. Jeez.
Everyone was just injured there. I think maybe if the map makers were looking at this map, that people were struggling for health, perhaps.
Yeah, there's actually quite a lot of medkits on this map, when you think about it.
We didn't see any sort of off-classing at all, as we predicted. Long map, a lot of kind of action. You demanded in the fight at a constant rate, and these snipers, these heavies, engineers, too slow for any of these sort of King of the Hill gameplay. But between like these two teams, I don't know, I felt like it just came down to the scouts. The scouts just looked like they were having a marginal better time over on Lemmings compared to their Russian compadres, as they've got some high DPMs and kills and deaths per second and all this jazz, but I don't know, I just don't feel like they were capitalizing as well. But the soldiers were doing well in Navi, I thought.
Oh yeah, like Uka was doing fantastic, and he was the roamer, and yeah, he top damage for his team, so lots of work there. It's also a bit of a change of pace to see soldiers doing well on a Koth map. That's not something we're used to. Kind of just Viaduct being a garbage map. I don't like that map, to be fair. But
is it the game type, or is it just the map in and of itself?
Okay. Just the map. I hate the map. I don't mind Koth.
All right, so we did see a bit of Kritzkrieg there. I'm not sure if you see that bought out in Australia and TF2 at all, but I'm not sure what to make of it looking at that map. Like, sometimes it was okay, but I don't think the Uber charge really had like a hell of a time on this map at all. So between the Kritzkrieg and the Uber, I don't know which one was better to pick.
I mean, there's a couple of different ways of thinking about it. It's a very fast-paced map, which means medic will die more, which means that when you build Uber faster, you'll get to pop more of them. So that's like one way of looking at it, right? Like, that's one logic. And then you could also say something like, it's pretty easy to figure out where the enemy is as soon as they're in onto the middle part, at least. Right? Like, you almost always know where the medic is. You can kind of see where he is. So using a Kritzkrieg on them can be kind of easy. On the other hand, you can kind of say you can use a Kritzkrieg into them, but it's very easy for them to just like pressure you out and just jump 2 soldiers onto you. And if you want to go forward with a Kritzkrieg, you're going to have to run through like the choke, between the middle. It's just basically like two mini chokes,
Hmm.
and they can just spam that out super heavily, and you can never make it through. So, yeah, I'm not sure quite what works best. Also, you can just kind of hide inside your own part of the map as long as you have Uber, and you can just really make sure that they can't go in there. That sounds like a pretty easy thing to achieve to me. And then once you have the Uber, you can just walk out, and then you have an Uber against the crits.
Well, backing up with some stats, they actually did manage to get more charges off during over on Navi than over on the Lemmings side, as they actually got like 5 medic Ubers and medical Ubers and 4 Kritzkriegs, whilst the Germans only managed to get 7 medical Ubers. But yeah, all very interesting. But anyway, that concludes, I guess, the round robin portion of the ETF2L Season 36 Preseason Map Cup. But the day's not over. We're going to start dipping our toes straight into that playoff section. It's round 1, baby. And this is going to be sort of the make or break for a lot of these teams, as I think there isn't a double elimination bracket. I think if you're out, you're just out. But now you get a bit more picky and choosy of the maps, I believe, and things start entering that best of 3 scenario. If I stand corrected, who knows, I could be completely wrong here, but for me to find out all that information, we'll probably head it over to a break. We'll find out which map we're going to be covering next, or which teams we're going to be covering next, or which casters we'll be covering next. But all I know is you're going to catch more of that ETF2L Season 36 Preseason Map Cup right here on Team Fortress TV if you stay tuned. I've been TurboTabs. With me on the co-cast has been Beta, and Adam and ArchRhythm has been on that production. We'll see you very, very soon.